Okay, just check a few things. This video is about gravity and what we've discovered. So I built this little machine, if you haven't seen any of my previous videos, and it has some anti-gravity forces involved, which when you look at it, very easily explainable once you discover a few things. So what can I tell you about gravity? Well, the first thing is, at the moment we don't know. We don't know about gravity. Not even Einstein had a clue. I would say that we're much closer now. What I've discovered is that gravity is definitely a superfluid under very high tension. You can slightly, well, how do I explain it? Gravitational waves can be propagated through the medium, and you can stretch it around masses. The greater the mass, the greater the stretching, which of course causes distortion in Einstein's space-time. How I'm arriving at all these deductions is through analysis and a lot of thought experiments. When I'm wrong, I'll tell you, like I thought gravitons were being emitted from mass objects. That's completely wrong, but I was correct in stating the shell-like nature. When you get down to Planck lengths and Planck times, you can actually calculate the differentials involved. It's very interesting. Now, I built this little machine and it can oppose gravity. The popular thought is it's anti-gravity. Well, it might be anti-gravity. I just like to think it's fighting against gravity. You're just vectoring the forces. It's the same force, just different vector. So what we've got here is a couple of thrust bearings. You can see they're just 3 pieces, ball bearings, a couple of shells. They go together like that, then they go on the shaft and they spin around there. The top ones spin around in unison with the bottom. Now they will sit under this piece here, so it can spin around in a horizontal angular momentum. And on this seesaw, it's basically what it is. It's a seesaw. It rocks up and down. It's just a bit of aluminium square tube, as you can see, and we'll put the machine on this end and a counterweight on that end to have it balanced. So we balance it, and any anti-gravity force will cause it to tilt up like that, and any if I vector it in a different direction, it'll cause the whole thing to rotate. So we'll be demonstrating the effects of my machine. And no, I'm still not going to tell anybody how it works or why it works. What we're doing is we're examining gravity. Now, before I even build this little rockabilly seesaw here, I'll tell you right now, some of you people are going to say, "Hey, he's got wires, or it's some trick, or it's got magnets, or whatever." No, I'll do the hoop, and you know, I'll show you that it is not a trick, and it's an actual force that I'll be demonstrating. So our conclusion so far, from a deep analysis and drawing many little pictures, and is that gravity is a superfluid. It has electrical and magnetic properties. It can bend light under extreme conditions. It can bend space and time. You can object all you want, I don't care. It doesn't make any difference. If I'm telling the truth, I'm telling the truth. That's all there is to it. And I plan to demonstrate the experiment. And you won't see the machine. It'll be in like a little totally enclosed sphere, or pyrrhohedron shape, or even a saucer shape. So you won't get to see the mechanics of the thing, or the electrics. You'll see a couple of wires going up this tube into the covered machine, and then you'll see the demonstration. Now I notice just recently people there's a lot of gravity posts out there and a lot of anti-gravity posts, and they're just missing the mark. Good on them for having a go and trying to guess. And I'm working from actual experiments, because I was contacted via message. I won't say where or when or how or who it is. Maybe the person doesn't want anything to do with somebody like me or whatever. They said, is it to do with air movement? That's why it's going to be in a sealed container, so that we can discount air as having anything to do with it. Will it work in space? Yes. What else? Oh, he wanted me to come up with the theory of operation. Well, that's the biggest ask of all. Nobody has solved what gravity is, and I'm making some attempt at rationalising my discovery through a lot of thought experiment, as I've said, a lot of sketching, a lot of working it out, and discounting crazy ideas like gravitons are coming out of the mass. No, they're not. The graviton field is, as I said, a superfluid, a hypertense superfluid, and if you put any magnetism in it, it's the force that collapses the magnetic field as soon as you take the electric force that's sustaining the magnetic field. The gravitational field, this superfluid, is what forces it back into the coil. Otherwise the magnetic field would just fly away, which it doesn't. If there was no medium or no boundary, the magnetic fields would fly away. Now, photons fly through space, or you might say they're wave propagation. I believe in the duality. I believe in you've got to work it out from either angle, using either wave functions or photon propagation, because just like a wave of water is made up of individual molecules, a wave of energy, electromagnetic energy, is made up of individual packets called photons. Now, I'm not going to digress and go into what photons actually are, or their polarization, or their mode of movement. All I'm saying is that space is not empty. Space has properties. Space is a superfluid. Space is filled with this graviton field, and under the laws of quantum physics you have to break that down into the smallest component, which are gravitons. It's just that we don't have the technology to detect them at the moment. I see that changing very shortly. So anyway, that's the explanation of gravity at the moment. Number one, it's a superfluid. Number two, it's under high tension. Number three, it stretches around mass objects, which changed the density of space, changed the propagation properties of light. Yeah, so basically that's my the results of my experiments so far. This is going to be very interesting. There'll be a lot of people out there going, oh, I told you that's how it was. Finally, people are saying gravity is mass. No, it's not. Gravity is the exact opposite to mass. It's an anti-mass. Gravity pushes mass together. I want you to think about a four-dimensional field, which is a three-dimensional field, two objects, and then think about it in time slicing and how those objects move together. They are pushed together, right? That's what gravity is. And if you look at the entire universe, that gravity's trying to push all the mass into one piece. Hence the development of black holes. I haven't got onto black holes yet. I'm too busy with this whole gravity, anti-gravity machine thing. But they're my thoughts, my opinions. You can challenge them, you can argue whatever you want. But yeah, I'm sharing them with you. I'm being open, honest. There's no need to be silly and call me names. It's a bit crazy. So yeah, next time you see this video, this will be all mounted on a camera tripod. It'll sit on top of a camera tripod, and there'll be a few kilos of machine and counterbalance, and I'll try and get it hooked up by remote control so I'm nowhere near it. Failing that, there'll be just a big power supply, and it will be done by manual control. But anyway, that's my little rant for tonight. No, I don't make big long whinging videos. I try to make them short. Hopefully they're interesting. I might put up another one tomorrow on the subject of UFOs. We'll see what people reckon about that. There's been many sightings around the world, so we might delve into that and how the UFOs relate to this piece of test apparatus that I'm building. Anyway, there's something for you people to think on. Gravity is anti-mass. You want to do a little experiment? Get a bowl of water and put a few coloured, or just a few drops of oil, and that will give you an analogy, an approximation of gravity. You see the little tiny little drops, and they all start moving together and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. That's a great analogy to demonstrate to children. Anyway, thanks for watching. I think we've been raving on long enough. I hope you've enjoyed my video. Give us a thumbs up if you like it, and stay tuned and you'll see some crazy machinery, and see how we go. Cheers.